Well, that was... Holy fuck, that was disturbing as hell. I mean, this is in the Carno Shoujo series, so it's not too surprising that there are scenes like that with a woman getting her eye ripped out of her socket and just generally disturbing shit like that. It's still hard to watch, though. I mean, because it's just really grotesque. And trust me, it will only get worse from there. I mean, that's kind of what we've come to expect from this game, these games. But it's not really done in a way where it's like, at least for the most part, it's not really graphic for the sake of being graphic. Like, you know, maybe like something like Saw. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at least in the later Saw movies. Not in the earlier Saw movies. The earlier Saw movies kind of had a reason for it. Like here, it's... I mean, here it just could be something as simple as the reasoning being the person is fucking crazy, which usually can be a good enough reason. Here it's that they're crazy, and it's also in at least in Carno Shoujo it was symbolic of something. Here I'm not really sure if I remember if the murders were necessarily symbolic. I know that the crows being murdered might be symbolic of something, but I just don't really remember what. But anyways, I suppose we will find out. Morning in the Yukishiro. I head down the freezing hallway to the washroom. I wonder if Reen's still in our room. I wonder if he's been, like, locked in there the whole night. She's like, what the fuck did you do, Shugo? Why did you lock me in the room? I would be surprised if she didn't have something to say to us. After washing my face in icy cold water, I return to my room. Excuse me, Shugo-sama. There's a frigid voice from behind me. You received a telephone call from Ujaku-sama. A call? That's rare. Phones have gotten cheaper over the years, but you could get 20 bowls of kakesoba for the amount of money it takes to buy a single phone. She wishes for you to come to Ueno Park. Ojaku-sama says she'll be waiting for you at the Benton Shrine. I wonder what she wants with me. She's always pretty busy. Alright, I got it, but Hatsune's been acting really stiff. Is she still mad about what happened last night? Hatsune, is there something you want to say to me? She puts on the sweetest smile and says, have a safe trip, Shugo-sama. What's with those expressions? Like, we've seen Rin and Kazuna give the same kind of expression, like, I'm tired of your shit, Shugo. Now Hatsune's tired of our shit. It's like, hey, I ain't playing around here, Shugo. You think this is a fucking game? With the tone so frigid, it makes today's weather seem warm in comparison. And she's usually so nice. It's probably because you're such a fucking dumbass, Shuko. You hurt her feelings. She thought that you were going to sleep with her. This is what I get, even after I explained everything to her yesterday, too. Hey, it doesn't matter. Women are very sensitive creatures. There's nobody in front of Ueno Station this early in the morning. The skies are clear, but the cold is pretty intense. I turn up the collar of my coat and rewrap my scarf. On my way to Ueno Park, I pass in front of a majestic brick building. It's Keio Private Academy, the all-girls school Nana attends. Of course, since she spends all her time wandering around the city playing detective, she's not actually attending much lately. It's a deplorable state of affairs. Oh no. Please don't tell me that's her. A horse-drawn carriage coming down the opposite side of the road stops in front of the gates. Wow, they have something like that ready to shuttle around students? I suppose it's no surprise, since the academy caters to the rich. Well then, as I stare expectantly at the carriage, wondering what kind of beautiful girl will step out. Hey, what a coincidence. No! Leave. The door to the carriage opens, and who else would it be but my family's delinquent daughter? Morning, Shugo. The fuck is up with you? Usually she's like... all energetic and trying to get into our pants. She doesn't look so great. Her face is pale too. What happened to you? Do you really not want to go to school that badly? Well, I wonder. Nana answers me vaguely and then surveys the school grounds. It's been a while since I've come to school. Those crows are making quite a racket, huh? Nana ponders after seeing the crows lined up on the roof of the church. I wonder if something happened nearby. Or perhaps... She then proceeds to walk into campus at a brisk trot. Weird. Well, when is she not? I seldom see Nana like this. I try striking up a conversation with the nun who rode here in the carriage with her. Excuse me, I'm her older brother. Keio Academy seems to be a Catholic institution. A lot of the faculty are members of the clergy. After I bow politely and thank her for taking care of my sister, she says, The truth is, Nana-san was taken into custody by the Ueno police. Probably for sticking her nose where it doesn't belong. I just went to pick her up. Huh? Had she done something? I knew she'd become a nuisance to the police one day, but I didn't expect that day to come so soon. No, she didn't commit any crimes. Nothing of that sort. Apparently she was up quite late drinking with people in Aoimachi. Drinking. So in essence, she was partying all night long with the riffraff in the slums. An officer on patrol spotted her early this morning. She was at a communal washing area on the street. He probably just wanted to investigate the Ueno murders, but nonetheless, she's such an idiot. It's unbecoming behavior for a girl of her age. Her haggard state is probably due to the alcohol still in her system. This is so deplorable it's giving me a headache. Even more so considering that the Ueno police will have contacted our family in Kyoto. I'm really sorry for troubling you. I apologize politely to the sister and leave. Well, that was, So basically she wasn't getting up... Well, she was getting up to her usual shenanigans, but in doing so, she was getting drunk with people. And she probably is not old enough to be drinking in the first place. Something about this just doesn't feel right. As I walk along the footpath beside Shinobazu Pond, my eyes are drawn toward a building on the opposite shore. There's a tumultuous crowd gathered around the Benten Shrine, which is normally devoid of any foot traffic. Whoa, that's... There are officers standing guard, as well as a cordon made from white rope strung around the perimeter to prohibit civilians from entering. There's no doubt in my mind, another murder happened. I wonder if Madame Mujaku's business with me has anything to do with this. At any rate, off to the Benten Shrine. Yeah, can't be paying that any mind. It's none of our business. There's a feeling of cold tension in the air. Hey you! No crossing beyond the rope! The officer's menacing warning echoes around the area while the rubberneckers add their own commentary into the mix. It's that murderer again, man! They're saying the crime scene is an absolute mess. What in the hell happened over there? The onlookers stifle their voices and whisper to each other. From what I can glean from the snippets floating over me, the murder seems to be highly abnormal. Okay, well when are the murders not abnormal? This might be the one that had to do with Otaha, because we saw that she was the one that was killed, or that was being tortured to death in that one scene. So this probably has to do with her, the fifth victim of the Ueno serial dismemberment murders. It looks like our killer's found himself some fresh prey. Man, what's going on here? The entire area around the Benten Shrine has been sealed off due to the murder. It would have been possible for me to pass through while I was a cop, but right now I'm just an ordinary civilian. There's no easy way for me to get inside. While I'm standing behind the onlookers and trying to make up my mind, someone calls out to me from beyond the cordon line. What are you doing here, Shugo? Arashima-san. Creepy old man. Thanks to Arashima-san, I'm able to cross over into the crime scene. The crows are going nuts. It feels like they're foreshadowing some ill omen. Thanks for coming with me. Why me, Arashima-san? I can feel the other detectives' curious stares being directed at me. This one's a special case. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Come with me. It's over here. Arashima-san seems much more grim than usual. First off, why don't you have a look at it? It'd be kind of funny if this was like an interactive segment, point-and-click segment, just investigate the corpse. In front of us is a section concealed by a white curtain. You guys are being pretty thorough. I don't recall them ever sealing a place off in this manner during my 5 years on the force. I had no choice. We can't reveal something like this to the public. Arashima-san twists his lips into a grin. So it's the work of that crazed serial killer? Well, there's a lot in common with his murders, but... Crunch, crunch. Honestly, I have no idea what to say. This one's gone beyond abnormal. We advance forward slowly, the snow crunching underneath our feet. A person was murdered, and they were chopped up, sure. But that's not all. There's something fundamentally twisted about this one. As we pass through the boundary marked off by the curtain, a sweet stench suddenly assails my nostrils. It's a rotting corpse. Come on, Shugo. In you go. Arashima-san leads me through. And inside, I see it. Ah. What is this? Oh, okay. Oh. Ugh. Well, somebody has a, Somebody has a bit of a different taste for art, I suppose. This is a little bit similar to Carno Shoujo with the whole putting women in eggs. Now it's just like let's put wings on the dismembered corpses of naked women. The severed limbs and head have not yet been found. Yeah, we know that's Otaha because she has that tattoo on her breast. The wings are artificially made. They were sewn directly onto the skin of her back. I'm not sure whether he was trying to imitate something or what. We haven't the slightest clue why he did this. Arashima-san's business-like tone echoes somberly in the air. All I can do is stand there, transfixed by what I'm seeing. I can't believe this. It's profane, disgusting, a truly unforgivable act. The name of the victim is Nakajima Ikkyo. In spite of that, though, apparently she worked in the red light district under the name Otaha. Her corpse is beautiful. Why the hell would you say that? Why the hell would you even think that? Ugh. I don't know what's worse, cutting out women's uteruses and putting them into eggs, or chopping them up and then sewing fucking wings onto their back, which is just about as weird. I don't know. It's really hard to say which is more fucked up. I would say they're equally as fucked up. Arashima-san's finished explaining the situation to me. I have no idea whether to feel anger, sadness, or frustration. It means this is what Madame Ojaku called me out here for. Though my brain's still half dazed, I finally realize why I've been summoned. We were able to immediately get an ID due to the tattoo on her breast. Tattoo? Yeah, she has a distinctive tattoo on her left breast, just above her heart. One of my detectives on the case just happens to be well acquainted with her. Well, he must frequent the red light district then. Well acquainted with a girl that worked in a place like she did? And at that moment... Yeah, that's right. Oh! It's, fuck, it's what's his name? It's the guy from Carno Shoujo who's a piece of shit. I was a regular of that dismembered slut over there. A detective suddenly butts into our conversation. One look at him and I can already tell he's a pretentious bastard. Yeah, you're right about that. This guy wasn't in the detective division when I was still working there. Man, what a waste. She might not have been much of a woman, but she did have a great cunt on her. Wow. But hey, her skirt's open. Might as well take this opportunity to screw her one last time as a final farewell. Jesus fuck, how is this guy in the police force? Even I've never fucked a woman with no head before. Why would you say this? Like, is he just trying to get his ass kicked? I just have to wonder if this guy walks around and says crazy shit just so he can get, provoke people. Well, she was a crazy nympho, so she'll probably rejoice from beyond the grave. The man laughs at his own joke as if it's the funniest thing in the world. Human death doesn't affect him. I ran into guys like this from time to time during my stint in the army and my time as a detective, as I've had to deal with numerous human deaths. I've seen countless people like him. I know I should be used to guys like him. Despite that, it's difficult for me to ignore this guy's attitude. You've been intimate with this girl before, right? Couldn't you be a little more respectful? The man's eyes fly open in surprise. Huh? Give me a break. Do I really have to shed tears over some slut? You son of a bitch! For a split second, I lose myself to anger. Just leave it at that, Detective Yaginuma. You cool it too, Shugo. Alright, Yaginuma. How could we forget about him? He was such a... He was such a great asset to the case. He just basically took credit for everything that everybody else did. I don't think he was ever like in any way helpful in the in Carno Shoujo, and he never found the killer either. So, GG, you're probably not gonna do anything useful in this game either. Everybody is gonna have to do your work for you, and then you'll probably just take the credit later. However, Arashima-san intercedes before I can get my fist swinging. Anyway, what about that report? Oh, right. Upon hearing this, the skinny man, Yaginuma, puts on his business face and speaks again. It just so happens that she lives nearby, so I was able to coax her into coming with us. What are you going to do? At this point, our date is looking kind of weak, so hauling her in on that is... You're right, but there's no way around it. Have her come down to the station as a suspect. Okay, roger that. Yaginuma heads over to the park entrance after throwing Arashima-san a casual salute. Ah, right. However, he stops after walking a short distance and turns around to face me. You're Takashiro Shugo, right? Yeah? He calls out to me. I know all about you. You made a huge screw-up in that Majiro case 1 year back, right? What about it? Yaginuma's eyes glimmer with contempt. You seem to get very emotional about murders like this. A softie like you is a hindrance to the well-being of the general public. You were right to quit. I hold myself in check and maintain my silence. Suddenly, Yaginuma stands at attention and salutes me. Takashiro-senpai, I'll excuse myself now. Just kidding. What a dickhead. Somebody's probably gonna beat the shit out of him one day. Just beat him to death. Yaginuma chuckles as he walks off. Don't be offended, Shugo. Yaginuma was assigned to the detective division as your replacement. Since comparisons were inevitably drawn between you two, I guess he's overly conscious of you now. He didn't seem like that sensitive of a guy, but... Come on, don't be such a grouch. He's an excellent detective. Yeah, don't be such a grouch, even though he just said some pretty fucked up things about fucking a corpse. Like, how are you supposed to like this guy? I mean, I don't think he has any likable traits about him. Excellent? You call a man who makes stupid jokes in front of a corpse excellent? Especially jokes like that. I spit back at Arashima, but he just flashes me a wry smile. I spit on you, Patul. Yaginuma's a man who can be logical about everything. He doesn't let his emotions get the better of him. He doesn't panic when he's stuck in a tight situation. He simply obeys orders without hesitation. A guy like him is invaluable, especially in this line of work. I can see where Arashima-san is going with this. He's an ideal person to the organization. However, I'm different. That's impossible for me. I wouldn't be able to turn my heart into stone like that. After I deride myself, Arashima-san allows himself a rare chuckle. You always were a hesitant one, Shugo. I really don't understand how you were able to function as a detective. I'm at a loss for words. Arashima-san pats me on the shoulder in an effort to cheer me up. But having doubts is a strength as well. I don't disagree with the way you did things, Shugo. He shrugs. Arashima-san. Then I hear him mutter softly to himself with a self-derisive tone. And if only I had that kind of strength. Arashima-san tells me he's returning to Ueno Station for the time being to question the suspect. The groundskeeper saw a suspicious person around here this morning. So this person is a suspect in these murders? At the moment, I can't say for sure. First of all, it's a young woman. A woman? We can't be harboring any preconceived ideas here, but judging from the corpse's condition, I don't know if a woman would have enough strength to do something like that. Women are all pure, innocent creatures. None of them could ever do something that depraved, clearly. Arashima-san leaves me with that and heads toward a car waiting at the entrance of the park. As I watch him leave, the opposite shore of Shinobazu Pond comes into view. That's... Standing next to a black car is Detective Yaginuma and... She's... the young lady with the dark eyes I saw in Oimachi. Why on earth is she here? Ask somebody about it or observe what happens. Okay, so apparently what we should do is ask someone about it. Observing what happens might not give us enough information anyway. Hey you, excuse me. I address an officer patrolling nearby. Sir, what is it? He's mistaken me for a detective, probably because I was engaged in conversation with Arashima-san earlier. Well, that's convenient. Kinda reminds me of how they thought that Reiji was still a detective when he was about to kill the, what was it, Rokushiki. It's like, yeah, I'm definitely a detective, guys. You should respect me. Respect my authority. That woman standing over there with Detective Yaginuma. Who is she? Sir, she's the suspect in question. They're going to take her over to the station for interrogation now. So she's the suspect. I thank the officer and leave. This is an omen of our impending destruction. Now is the only time to repent. Her raspy voice echoes inside my head. A chill runs up my spine. What on earth is going on here? An image pops into my head of the seemingly unrelated countless bits and pieces of this case, all crawling around, trying to find connections to each other. The whole picture is still shrouded in darkness. In fact, things seem to be getting even more confusing and chaotic. Damn it all. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just lost in a sea of doubts. Crows. I trudge glumly through the wintry landscape. There are a lot of fucking crows over there. Maybe there's just multiple corpses lying around. They're just eating them. Up ahead, I can see Nakanoshima, where the Ueno Benton Shrine has been constructed. The road leading up to it is lined with bare trees. A flock of crows is perched atop ancient telegraph poles, cawing. Caw, motherfucker, caw! Ueno's Benton Shrine. The stony ground is covered with a light dusting of snow. All is quiet. The clamor from the crime scene doesn't reach this place. I scan my surroundings. Now, where could she be? Arashima-san had told me that Madame Ojaku was waiting for me here. I don't see her anywhere around the outskirts, so... Oh, there she is. I can see a trail of footprints from her wooden sandals leading up toward the shrine interior. Sir. So you came. Why is she calling us sir? We're not really a superior or anything to her. Maybe it's just because she addresses us, she sees us as a customer or something. I don't know. It seems like that's what prostitutes would call a customer, like, sir. Hey there, madam. Apparently, she was really shaken up earlier. I don't know what to tell you about Otaha. Yeah, I know. She says that absent-mindedly, then narrows her eyes. Thank goodness. I suppose she's calmed down, for the most part. Don't be ridiculous! Why did something like this happen to my Otaha? Okay, well, maybe not. Why the hell are you cops letting such a twisted bastard roam around and do as he pleases? How many people must die before you take your job seriously? Hey, I'm not on the police force, don't blame me for this. The madam was so furious that she was on the verge of striking Arashima-san. She refused to leave Otaha in that wretched state and wanted to bring her back to the Yukishiro. Oh, so that's how she was earlier. I thought she just, like, snapped for some reason. Sir? Is there something on my face? The area around her eyes is faintly red and painfully swollen. No, madam. I can't bear to look at her any longer, so I turn my eyes away. Why don't we head back? I know it's painful, but they won't be able to return Otaha's body to us until they perform the autopsy. Madame Ojaku doesn't budge. She just stares ahead with empty eyes. Sir, I have a favor to ask. A favor? The moment I laid eyes on Otaha's body, I knew something like this was coming. She continues on, murmuring softly. Could you avenge her death? Those are words I was half expecting to hear. Madame Ojaku considers the girls of the Yukishiro her own daughters. It's the wish of a mother whose child was brutally slain. It's something that didn't even need to be said. It's painfully obvious, even to me. You know, she was originally the wife of a soldier from Yushima. The madam continues, muttering. They were married when she was still a student. The couple lived happily, free from any want. That is, until the war came. Her husband left to fight on the mainland, and didn't write back a single time. I'm sure she was lonely as hell. She made a mistake with another young man. Her husband's family found out, and a divorce was filed. She was cut off by her own parents for being such a shameless daughter, and all that remained for her was the typical path to ruin. A life spent crawling through the mud from one man to another. When she came to my place a year ago, she was a destitute alcoholic. Her body was worn out. She had even done drugs. That idiot. She looked absolutely horrific. And the madam continues on, her eyes shining full of love. Even though she looked awful, even though she was an idiot at times, she was still the madam's precious little girl. But isn't this just too cruel, sir? If she'd lived on, she would have found happiness in the future. So why did something like this have to... Oh, we can't really know that for sure. She's at a loss for words. Madam. I can't count on the police in their investigation. We'll catch that bastard ourselves and make him pay for his sins. She asks me once again in a voice that chills me to the core. You'll help me, right? Right now, I'm just an ordinary civilian. I could have used that excuse to refuse her. Hell, that's totally something I'd say. But it's too late for that. I can't turn a blind eye now. The killers made things personal. Don't you worry, madam. My voice trembles as I say those words. Otaha and the madam aren't just some strangers. I can't play it off like I usually do. I'll find him, and I'll make him pay. And that's the moment I first became involved in this case. The moment I set foot deep into this mad, twisted purgatory of the soul. It's a little bit of a reference there to the title. I escort Madame Mojaku back to the Yukishiro and return to my own room. Where the hell's Rin been this whole time? It's already noon. Kazuna came by to get me earlier, but I told her what had happened and sent her home. I know it's unfair to her, but today I want to make progress on Otaha's case. Well, where should I begin? I flipped through Nana's report and mulled over my plan of action. I'd promised the madam that I'd find the killer, but there's a limit to what one man can do. The police have already finished investigating all the matters recorded in Nana's report. Despite all of this, they still haven't managed to identify the killer. In this case, it would be fruitless for me to start the investigation over from scratch. In terms of basic investigative ability, I'm no match for the police, since they have tons of manpower on hand. What I need to do is focus my attention on the trivial clues the police have overlooked, and in particular, the most recent victim, Otaha. Since I'm a resident of the Yukishiro, I may be able to find some small leads on Otaha that the police have missed. Time to go asking around the Yukishiro. What do you know about Otaha? Where was she last seen? Indiscriminate killings. That makes things difficult. In this case, the killer can't really be determined using a motive, like a grudge or a crime of passion. None of the victims of this series of bizarre murders are related in any way. The same holds true in Otaha's case. Perhaps I should start by tracking down Otaha's recent activity. What was the deciding factor that made the killer focus on Otaha? If these murders were truly indiscriminate in nature, then where did the killer first lay eyes on Otaha? There should be a lead there. Is there something in Otaha's recent activity? Something that piques my curiosity. I'll investigate her trail, return to the crime scene. Well, returning to the crime scene would give us probably some clues, but it's also probably going to be difficult to even get into the crime scene considering it was cordoned off earlier and there's police everywhere. So, according to the guide, we should investigate her trail. That should probably be easier, considering we don't really have to deal with the police in order to do that. That's right. Otaha disappeared from the Yukishiro yesterday morning. Where was she and what was she doing up until the time she was discovered in Ueno Park? At what moment did the killer come into contact with Otaha? Let's start by breaking things down from that direction. Otaha had made a promise to go shopping with Rin on that day. Well, time to go ask Rin. However, she didn't return after leaving the Yukishiro in the morning. Hatsune, do you have a minute? There's something I'd like to ask you. Hatsune is running around making preparations for Otaha's wake. I catch her and ask her about Otaha's outing. I'm sorry. I have no idea. Nah, don't worry about it. Well, I suppose that's another dead end. Hatsune and Otaha were never on the best of terms. It's a stretch to think that Otaha would actually tell her where she was headed. Thanks, Hatsune. Sorry for interfering with your work. Anyhow, you be careful too. Make sure you're never outside by yourself after dark. Okay, Shugo-sama. Hatsune has a strained look on her face as I turn away and return to my investigation. I think the best person to ask would be Rin, since she probably knew her the best. I walked through downtown Ueno, searching for Toji. I left the Yukishiro in search of Otaha's trail, and getting my hands on police data would be the fastest way to accomplish that objective. It's information that investigators have run themselves ragged collecting. I'd like to be able to use it at any cost. Besides, I'm also interested in that girl they hauled away as a witness. But there's no way they'd permit a civilian like myself to look over data like that. That's where Toji comes in. If you take the police to be guardians of normal society, then the Hand of Death functions as executors of the underworld. However, their goals, functions, members, and the way they operate, both organizations resemble each other in all aspects. The only difference between them is the people backing them, a country versus individuals. They have a cozy relationship with each other and they show a strong sense of unity in order to protect their common interests. There's a side that protects the law, and a side that breaks it. On the surface, they appear at odds, but you could say that they have a peaceful joint venture going on. That relationship, however, is definitely not what you would call lawful. That's just how things are in this crazy world I live in. The world in which I met Toji. Well, Toji is a pretty good idea. She could probably get us a lot of that information. Somebody's probably selling it. Selling it on the black market. Milk hall, huh? I asked for Toji's whereabouts at a hangout spot for the lower-ranked thugs in the Hand of Death. It appears that my friend of few words is having a late lunch at the cafe. Thanks, man. I give him my thanks and leave. Back to the milk hall. The investigation data from this morning's murder? Yeah, and in particular, I want to know what Otaha did yesterday. Toji is slightly taken aback at how serious I look. Sheesh. Add this to the matter from the other day. You just keep making trouble for me. Please, Toji. She averts her eyes and sighs. Getting the information in itself won't be hard. However, you'll have to wait 2 or 3 days. Okay, I owe you one. In any case, I really need clues that will allow me to make progress in my investigation. This should do for now. So, this morning's corpse was a girl from the Yukishiro. Toji narrows her eyes. She stares me down with those bottomless red pupils. Shugo, don't be too hasty. Her tone carries a hint of anxiety. When shit starts to hit the fan, don't hesitate to ask someone for help. It doesn't matter who. It could be me or Ojaku. I forced myself to chuckle. Toji, you're being all overprotective again. Look, I know. That's why I'm here asking you for help right now, right? Toji has nothing to say in response. Instead, she just turns to me with a look of concern. You're gonna get yourself killed, Shugo. I'm disappointed that Kazuna isn't in this part in this chapter or on this day. I wanted to see more Kazuna. I can never have enough Kazuna. The snow starts to come down after it gets dark. The weather's been kind of strange lately. Yeah, it's been snowing all the damn time. Although it's not really too, considering this is in February, that's not really too out of the ordinary. But Jesus fuck, they've been getting quite a bit of snow. I mutter to myself, looking up at the overcast sky. I didn't bring an umbrella with me, but it's not really snowing that hard. I'll live. But the wind and cold really are kind of annoying. I trudge back to the Yukishiro amidst the flurries of powdery snow falling from the sky. Down the hallway, I can hear voices chanting sutras from Otaha's room. Since the Yukishiro is closed for business today, there are no voices belonging to drunken patrons. There are only the subdued whispers of the girls. I lower my eyes and pass in front of the room. Otaha's wake has begun. Madame Ojaku must have negotiated something with the police, as Otaha's body was returned to the Yukishiro with surprisingly little hassle. That being said, the body's still tragically missing its limbs and head. The girls are sitting in front of the altar with their hands bowed. The fragrance of incense and floral wreaths drifts out. Mixed in with the monks chanting are the faint sounds of sobbing. Even Hatsune's eyes are red from crying, despite how harshly she was treated by Otaha. A wave of depression overwhelms me. Even though we weren't close, the feeling of losing someone you know is truly unbearable. Ugh, I can't take any more of this. I avert my eyes from the scene. Might as well head back to my room. I'll drink myself to sleep and forget about it all. I suddenly notice something as I turn to leave. Rin? I don't see Rin. They were pretty close friends, so why is she not at Otaha's wake? I desperately try to suppress the feeling of panic clawing its way into my mind. I quietly try asking the head chef, as he's sitting nearby the entrance. Ah, Rin-chan? I think she was called over to a brothel in Fukugawa. Are you serious? On a day like this? Yeah, Ojaku-san tried to stop her from going as well, but she told us that working would help distract her, and then off she went. Someone's going to pick her up, right? If not, I'm heading over to Fukugawa right now. Nah, Rin-chan said she's staying the night over there. That gave Ojaku-san some peace of mind, so she sent her on her way. I see. I guess she won't be in any danger then. Speaking of being worried, Koyuki-chan and Seri-chan haven't come back. Where on earth did they run off to? I've returned to my room. I take a swig from a bottle of sake I brought in from the kitchen and flop onto my futon. I'm all over today's events in my head. First, there was Otaha's grotesque corpse. Then we had the dark-eyed girl who appeared at the crime scene. And last but not least was Madame Ojaku's request to track down the killer. So much work, so little time. I let out a deep sigh. The killer is a psychopath who cuts off the limbs of his prey, gouges out their organs, then consumes their flesh. I might have to put the search for Yura on the back burner until my business with the murderer is finished. He's been evading the police for nearly a month now. If I take a half-assed approach to this, there's no way I'll catch him. I have no choice but to give this investigation my full attention. Or perhaps I should continue the search for Yura concurrently? What will I be doing starting tomorrow? Oh man, this is gonna be a hard choice if I didn't have a guide in front of me. Investigate the murders or investigate the murders and search for Yura? Well, Actually, I think this is actually a pretty obvious choice. We should investigate the murders and search for Yura. That's right. Yura's case is definitely a race against time. Putting off the search for Yura would be a cruel thing to do to Kazna. Besides, something bothers me about Yura's disappearance. Well, it just means my workload's increased a bit. Fortunately for me, both cases are centered in the Ueno area. It should be possible to investigate both simultaneously. My eyelids gradually grow heavier. Drowsiness consumes me and I drift off into a light slumber. February 10th. The murders continue. Everything only gets worse from here. Hello! Shake, shake. Wakey, wakey! Shu-san! I know who that is. Shake, shake. Are you not gonna get up? Fine. I get it. If that's how you want to play, I've got some ideas of my own. Oh, no, no, no. Russell, Russell. Excuse me. Russell, Russell, there's a strange sensation on my lower body. I wonder what it could be. Woohoo! At least this part of you is up and ready to go. Grope. Good morning. Grope, grope, grope. Ah! I leap up and out of my futon. Damn it, what are you saying good morning to? I can see her ass sticking out of my futon. What the hell is she, an ostrich? It was pretty magnificent if I do say so myself. The ass voices its admiration to me. Her head is still under the futon, incidentally. Are you stupid? Thwack. I give the ass a slap. No. It braces itself for more. Are its defensive instincts at work? Cut it out, Rin. Hurry up and get out of there. Okay. What the fuck is going on? After some more rustling, Rin pokes her face out from under the futon. Good morning, Shu-san. I sigh after catching a glimpse of her innocent face. Sure, morning. She has dark circles under her eyes and her eyelids are swollen from crying. And what's more, Rin, are you drunk? There's the cloying odor of alcohol emanating from her body. I thought that she would probably have a hangover at this point. I wasn't drinking. Anyway, there's somewhere I'd like you to go with me, okay? Of course it's okay. Righto, let's go. And that's how I ended up being forced out of the Yukishiro by Rin. The sky above Ueno is overcast like usual. Phew, pretty chilly today too. Rin tugs on my sleeve as she trots off at a brisk pace. Hey Rin, where the heck are we going? Apparently, she came to attack me in my room right after she returned from Fukugawa. Her rumpled, loose clothing is kind of sexy, I have to admit. Oh man, last night was wild as hell. We were partying and drinking until the sun came up. So you really were drinking. Did you say something, Shu-san? No, nothing of the sort. Drown your sorrows in alcohol. Did you say your farewells to Otaha? Tomorrow's the funeral, you know. The monk had told us that today wasn't a good day for funerals, so Otaha's ceremony was postponed until tomorrow. Oh. Right. Yeah. Ah, shit. Bad move. Rin's expression stiffens. Was that too insensitive of me? Rin was acting so normally that I didn't even realize I goofed. Wait, Rin. I rushed to apologize. There's no way Rin wouldn't have known about the funeral. She and Otaha were such good friends. She's even doing her best to keep her spirits up, despite all the emotions that must be raging inside her. I'm an idiot for not realizing at least that much. How should I say this? It's okay, Shu-san. I understand. Rin speaks softly, her face blank, her eyes downcast. And then... So, shall we go? My left hand's enveloped by something cold. Huh? Rin's holding my hand. With a beseeching smile on her face, Rin waits for me to speak. Okay, well, let's go. I gently squeeze her cold hand in return. Where are we going? Why are we going here? Oh, why would you go here of all places? Fuck, this is where your friend's corpse was found. Ueno Park. There's not a soul in sight because of how early it is. Maybe also because there was a fucking body here. A body with wings attached to it. I realize that we're silently heading toward the spot where Otaha was found. Rin tells me that she wants to look over that place before she goes to see Otaha's remains. Why would you come here? I take a look upwards. The cloudy sky is the color of ink. A crisp winter breeze makes the branches of the trees sway overhead. We trudge onward through the snow, holding hands in silence. I suddenly come to a halt. I feel like there's someone staring at me. I take a careful look around, but there's no one else in the park. Huh? Something wrong, Shu-san? Nah, sorry, it's nothing. Was it just my mind playing tricks on me? I'm fairly certain I felt a scrutinizing glance directed right at me. Let's get going. I take Rin's hand and start walking. And then, we finally arrive. This is where Ota was found. We stand in front of the rope barrier that encloses the crime scene. The faint blood stains left on the ground yesterday are no longer there. I see. Rin pulls out a small bouquet of flowers from her pocket and lays it on top of the snow. She closes her eyes and brings her hands together in prayer. Like that. I do likewise. As we offer up our silent prayers, the snow gently begins to fall. The snow's been falling like fucking crazy, hasn't it? It still hasn't sunk in yet. Yeah, I share the feeling. I still can't believe that Otaha, a girl I used to see every day, is now gone forever. But life goes on. Our daily lives won't change. Otaha-san. We won't ever be able to see her again. Yeah, that's probably the only thing that will change for us. You'll never be able to see the dead again. You won't be able to talk with them, laugh with them, or fight with them ever again. Time has stopped for Otaha. All our fond memories of her will gradually fade away into nothingness. Rin begins crying softly, trying to stifle her sobs. Rin. I wrap my arms around her shoulders and gently pull her close. Shu-san, why did he have to kill Otaha-san? She never did anything wrong. It's too cruel. Well, welcome to Karano Shoujo, fam. Rin continues weeping into my chest. No happy endings. Nothing good ever happens to you. Everybody dies. As I support a weeping Rin, we make our way toward a gazebo on the outskirts of the park. There aren't a lot of people around here. I'll just wait for Rin to calm down. A gazebo. Rin and I take a seat next to each other on a bench. I embrace Rin's slender body to shield her from the falling snow. You saw a pathetic side of me. She leans on my shoulder with her eyes closed. The tears just wouldn't stop, huh? I thought I was okay, but I kinda let my guard down. But really, I'm fine now, Rin says, her throat trembling slightly. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I gently stroke Rin's hair. She giggles and presses her nose into my shoulder. What is she, a cat? Well, she did have the chibi form of a cat. You're not gonna get mad at me for being all clingy today? Come on. I never get mad at you, right? Eh? Seriously? Seriously. Oh. Well, that makes me happy if it's true. I said it was, didn't I? I reach out and pinch Rin's nose. What? What are you doing? Rin struggles as tears appear in her eyes. Seriously, there's more cat than girl here. My bad. Come on, you meanie. As we laugh and take turns pinching each other's noses, it gradually segues into a soft kiss. Okay. This is about to turn real left pretty quick. Why now of all times? No. Maybe it's because of what's going on. Huh? We whisper back and forth while clinging tightly to each other. You know, I really like you, Shu-san. Yeah. Yeah? Not surprised? Why the hell did you just... Why did you just say yeah? God damn it, she really is a cat. Nah, your actions make it pretty obvious. I reach up and tickle Ren's earlobe. That tickles. Rin squirms around in my arms. Hey, stop it. Apparently, enjoying the whole affair, Rin starts putting up more resistance. She scratches me with her nails and tries to bite my nose. What the fuck? You dummy. Damn you. Yeah. Seriously, we're acting like a pair of little kids. Punch her in the face. After screwing around for a while, we finally calm down. You know, I always knew that you didn't like me, Shu-san. You idiot, that's not true. We've spent all that time together, haven't we? But you've never made love to me. You're a fucking prostitute. Oh, come on. I've already told you 1,000,000 times. It's due to the age-old rules of the red light district. You probably have to pay for it, too. But I guess I'm just using them as an excuse so that I don't have to come to grips with what I really feel inside. I'm deathly afraid of having someone important to me, and then losing them. Yeah, well, knowing the type of game this is, I can't really say I blame him. Are you thinking about something again? Nah, not really. Rin looks down sadly as I find myself at a loss for words. It'd be nice if we could stay like this forever. You know, just joking around, laughing, wasting time in your room, treating me like a friend or a little sister. just making me feel special. I realize that I can't have a proper relationship with you because of my job. That's why I like things as they are. Rin squeezes my arm. But then, you know, Odaha-san just suddenly disappeared and all, and... Rin. Shu-san, are you really against it? Oh, fuck. Yeah. Okay, so I know what happens here. If we accept Rin's feelings, there's a sex scene. So we have to say I just can't do it. It's kind of sad, but... yeah, can't really be doing that. Especially if we're trying to go with Kazuna here. That would kind of be a little bit... That wouldn't be too much of a good idea. But, I mean, we're not really in a relationship with her, but we're trying to be. Which is a little bit weird because we do get into a sex scene later that I think we have to get into for some reason. I don't remember why, but yeah. I sit there silently, not moving a muscle. I've always chosen a solitary lifestyle. I keep myself safe so I can't get hurt. I retreat inside my shell. Each and every time this happens, I always choose the same path. Okay then, Shinji. Well, Shu-san, let's get going, shall we? After a little while, Rin stands up with a smile on her face. She looks confident and refreshed. Sure. I suddenly noticed that the snow stopped falling. More and more ellipsis. Since Rin is going to be entertaining at the Umedaya tonight, I part ways with her at the entrance to Ueno Park. Shu-san, I'm sorry for dragging you with me today. I was kind of scared to come all by myself. She flashes me an embarrassed smile. And just like that, she's back to her normal self. Nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal, but that aside, I'll walk you over there. The Umedaya, right? Oh no, there's no need for that. I'm super close anyway. Are you sure? It's more than I deserve. You already cheered me up plenty today. Rin giggles softly. See you tomorrow, Shi-san. She waves her hand at me in farewell. Rin has a smile on her face the whole time as we say our goodbyes. Rin, I think I might have hurt her deeply with my half-hearted attitude. I absent-mindedly look on as Rin's figure melts away into the distance. She slips through the swelling crowd, her figure getting tinier and farther away until she disappears. Yeah, a little bit of foreshadowing going on there. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think most people watching can tell we might have activated a death flag here, or at least, not for us, I'll just say that. That's the final image of Rin I have burned into my mind. Oh, well, hey, they already just spoiled it anyway. There's the usual throng of people going about their business noisily in front of Ueno Station. Different sorts of folks pass by in front of my eyes. Students, workers from rural areas, office workers, street urchins. And then those weird kids. I also catch sight of the child wearing strange-looking clothes I saw a few days ago downtown. There's a group of people gathered by the side of the road whispering to each other. But yeah, if we did choose to accept Rin's feelings, let's see, because I'm pretty sure that would lead us right into a dead end. Well, maybe not. I'm not sure, because it's actually not coming up on the guide. But I do know that if we do that, then it is basically a, it probably does lead to a bad end, or a dead end anyway. I mean, because something bad is going to happen to Rin regardless if we, chose to have sex with her or not, I think. And if we did choose to have sex with her, something bad may have happened to us because, you know, hey, you try to go down the routes of other girls in these games, something bad is pretty much always going to happen to you. The shadowy-looking Katara gives off a sinister vibe. I avert my eyes and pull out my pocket watch. I'm supposed to meet with Kazuna at noon. There's still some time to kill before then. What to do? Well, let's hang out at the cafe. Oh, both of you? Kazuna isn't the only person waiting for me at Milk Hall. Yep, not really too much of a surprise there. Toji silently raises her hand in greeting. Oh, hello there, Shugo-san. Thanks for showing up today. I really appreciate all the work you've done. Strangely enough, Kazuna seems rather subdued today. I happened to run into her while I was eating. I'll move to a different seat if I'm getting in your way. Nah, I'm glad you're here. There's something I need to discuss with you as well, Toji. Toji narrows her eyes and shoots me a questioning look. Hang on, I'll get to it in a bit. Before that, I turn to face Kazuna. Kazuna, I need to talk to you about what's going to happen after this. Huh? To me? The truth is, I then proceed to give her a rundown of the events that led to me being involved with Ota's case. Yeah, so I found a corpse with some wings stuck onto it. And that's the gist of it. A girl working at the Yukishiro was murdered, and I've been requested to help find her killer. That's why I won't be able to concentrate all my efforts into the search for Yura. I know it's selfish, but I beg you. Please, just give me a little time to finish this. I bow toward Kazuna. Oh no! Shugo-san, please don't do that. I see. I understand completely. I'm worried about my sister, but considering your circumstances, putting the search on hold is inevitable. I'll be waiting for you until you finish that job, Shugo-san. Kazuna nods in assent with a kindly look on her face. Thanks. That's a big help. Phew, I'm glad she understands. Since it's Kazuna we're talking about here, there was a possibility she might have blurted out that she'd continued the search on her own. But in exchange, I have one thing I'd like to ask of you, Shugo-san. What is it? She leans forward with a serious glint in her eyes. I have a bad feeling about this. I know I'm not really all that dependable, but despite that, I'd like you to consider this. Please let me assist you, Shugo-san. Yeah, I knew something like that was coming. Kazuna, to be perfectly honest, you're putting me on the spot here. I have no idea how this investigation will last, and I can't guarantee that it won't be dangerous either. Considering the circumstances, I can't just have you tagging along with me. But you helped me out, Shugo-san. Well, of course I did. It's my job. But... Toji's calm voice suddenly cuts into our conversation. It'll be fine, Shugo. If Kazuna's with you, you'll probably refrain from being reckless. It's perfect. She'll keep you in line. What the hell? Don't just go running your mouth off. Toji ignores my protest and continues. Kazuna, the moment this guy goes off to do something by himself, you come tell me right away. What are you, my fucking mother? Jesus Christ. This guy has a bad habit of being really secretive. I know that this is a difficult mission, but I'm counting on you. It's such an important role? Understood. I'm fired up. I will try my very best to report every minute detail of Shugo-san's actions to you, Toji-san. Sure. She's like a character in a fighting game now. It's like, I'm gonna beat your ass, son. Toji lets out a giggle after seeing Kazuna all psyched up. Damn it all. I'm the one who loses in this situation. She looks like she's secretly enjoying this. You put her up to this, didn't you? She's just the puppet master behind the scenes of everything. So, what was it you wanted to talk to me about, Shugo? Toji fires a question my way, indifferent to my inner thoughts. About that, how goes it with the stuff I asked you to look into yesterday? Any progress? You're too hasty. There's no way things will proceed that quickly. Toji sounds somewhat taken aback. I've got some stuff on my end to take care of too. Hold on a bit longer. I guess you're right. Oh well. Toji's the only one I can depend on for information from the police. I'll just be patient and wait it out. Kazuna pipes up timidly when Toji and I reach a lull in our conversation. Are you guys talking about those murders? Yeah. What about them? I was just thinking about how it reminded me of an article I saw in the morning paper. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Shugo-san? I'm not exactly... I'm suddenly at a loss for words. I don't read the paper. You're referring to the suspect in the murders, the one that was released last night, correct? I heard it this morning from one of my contacts in the Ueno police station. Yeah, that sounds about right. It was a super tiny article, so it might have slipped by you, Shugo-san. Right. Making a grim face, I tried to cover up my ignorance. This morning, I'd been rudely awakened by Rin, and then we headed off to Ueno Park for stuff. Well, this would be a little bit more funny if they actually did have sex, because it'd be like, yeah, we headed off for stuff. Frankly speaking, there hadn't been time for me to read the paper. However, there's no way I could actually say that to the two ladies sitting in front of me. That's rather sloppy of you, Shugo. What are you talking about? My voice cracks and rises a few octaves. Did Toji see right through my lies? Well, if you take on a job, you should at least take a look at the articles related to it, no matter how trivial they may seem. Ah, so that's what she meant. Yeah, you're right, Toji. Relieved, I nod in agreement with a serious look on my face. In times like this, it's best to just be meek. My bad. I should have known better. Oh, come on. You just didn't have time to read the newspaper because you were thinking about the case all day, right? That's It's perfectly correct. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, something like that.
I trust you completely, Shugo-san.
Right. I'll do my best. The scary thing about Kazuna is that she's just so innocent. Innocent and naive. Toji looks at me curiously, as my guilt does strange things to my face. However, she pulls herself together and continues. There are some parts of your story I don't quite understand, but let's get back to business for the time being. Toji informs me solemnly. So we found some more corpses. Regarding the released suspect. I wasn't informed of the finer details, but Toji lowers her voice. The suspect's name is Shigusa Tokiko. Apparently, she's one of the leaders of a religious organization known as Senri. They've recently become popular throughout the Ueno area. I see. Yeah, so this religious organization is going to become pretty important later. I recall how crazy she seemed when I first laid eyes on her and nod deeply. That phony priestess, huh? That puts the weird things she was spewing in perspective. The destruction of our world approaches. If you don't want to be destroyed, then that's their set spiel. How did you find out she was a suspect? Well, I haven't heard any more than that. There seemed to be a pretty strict gag order on the details, but since they let her go pretty quickly, the cops probably didn't have any significant charges against her. I suppose you're right. But try as I might, I just can't accept Toji's words at face value. The woman I first saw in the slums, her name is Shigusa Tokiko. It's not known how she's connected to the murders. However, she definitely seems to be involved in some way. Even though her charges were dropped and she was set free, is she really unrelated to the murders? I may need to investigate her in further detail. When we get out of Milk Hall, Ueno Station is packed with throngs of people. I pull up the collar of my coat to cover up skin that's exposed to the cold air. The sun is almost completely set. The area is blanketed in darkness and chill winter air. I'm going to head back with Kazuna for the time being. What are you going to do? Let's see. I suppose I should pay a visit to Ojaku since it's been a while. The madam's been feeling pretty down. I think it'll help if you stop by. Madame Ojaku might cheer up a little bit if her old friend drops by for a visit. Ojaku must have it rough. Toji's expression clouds over. I hope nobody else gets killed. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen, fam. There's a sliver of baseless doubt gnawing away inside my chest. Me too. Let's pray that it ends here. I'd nod in agreement with Toji's words. However, our prayers were in vain. When we return to the Yukishiro, what awaits us is more bad news. Rin's gone missing. Ah, fuck. Yeah, we all knew that was coming. Oh, fuck. No! Death, murder, torture. Torture porn. Here we go. Huh? She wakes up in an unfamiliar room. The light from the lamps hung on the wall is quite faint, so the room is rather dim. The moment she regains consciousness, she becomes aware of a rotten, sour stench penetrating her nostrils. An intense wave of nausea roils up from the bottom of her stomach. Tearful, she gags at the stench, frantically pressing the sleeve of her kimono against her nose. There must be something rotten nearby, but the room is so dark that it's hard to make out where or what it is. Why am I... She was called back to Ueno when she was over in Fukagawa getting ready for work. That's the last thing she can remember. She's wearing the kimono she had on when she left the Umedaya. There are no marks on her body. She hasn't been tied up or bound. Only her wallet is missing and her pockets have been completely emptied. Has she been kidnapped by some kind of pervert? The repulsive thought makes goosebumps rise over her entire body. A person who abducts girls and brings them to this cellar. I'm scared. What's going on? What sort of violence will she face? What will she be forced to do? Her imagination knows no bounds. There is an endless number of terrible things that could happen. Now that her eyes have grown accustomed to the gloom, she's able to take a look around the room. She can only see faint outlines, but it seems to be a dreary, empty room. When she looks up, she suddenly notices something strange hanging in the corner of the room. Ugh! The corpse of a girl suspended by chains. She's strung up from the ceiling like an animal in a slaughterhouse, almost as though she's waiting for her turn to be butchered. That's when it hits her. She's in the grasp of the psychotic murderer who chops up women, the very person all of Ueno is making a fuss about. Can this really be happening? Was she really kidnapped by the infamous Ueno serial killer? She can't stop trembling. Rin hugs herself tightly, and at that moment, that is the soft click of a door being unlocked. Somebody.
Somebody's trying to enter the room. There's no doubt in her mind that that somebody is the person who's imprisoned her here. The culprit behind those bizarre serial killings? A chill of fear runs up her spine. Rin's teeth are chattering violently. Her body is so weak that she can barely stand. Tears start pouring out of her eyes, now as wide as saucers. Am I going to be killed?
Shu-san, save me.
And then... Ah, fuck. Don't leave me on that fucking cliffhanger, dude. Don't fucking... Don't just leave that. Don't just leave it there. We all know what's gonna happen to her, though. I mean, it's pretty much 99% obvious what's going on. I mean, Rin should have at least tried to fight back. I mean, I don't know if she was drugged, or she was, like, drugged so she couldn't move, or... Because she said she wasn't bound, or, like, restrained by anything, so I don't know. I feel like she could have done something. Rin disappeared? The madam nods, her face grave. I just received word from the Umedaya. Apparently Rin left and never made it home. They said she left because I summoned her back, but I did nothing of the sort. Wait, what does it all mean, madam? The hell if I know! All I'm certain of is that Rin disappeared on her way back to the Yukishiro. Rin had cried into my chest this morning. She had choked back tears and struggled to be strong, but in the end, she was unable to contain her sorrow. Is this the way my premonitions play out? I had everyone at the Yukishiro split up. We're searching the entirety of Ueno. You help too, sir. I'm already running off before Madame Mojaku finishes. Hey, hold it, Shugo.
Shugo-san?
I ignore their pleas for me to stop and burst out the door of the Yukishiro. Rin, where do I start my search? There's no point searching at random, but I don't have any clear leads from what the madam told me. If I had to guess, she must have passed by Ueno Station or through downtown on her way back from the Omidaya. Fuck. Ueno Station or downtown? Well, I did just mention Ueno Station, so... Maybe we should try that first? Let's see. Yep, okay. Ueno Station. Among the crowd gathered in front of Ueno Station, I can see the street merchants, thugs belonging to the Hand of Death, and people from bars trying to pull in customers. I find some familiar faces and ask them about Rin. Everyone I ask looks puzzled. Nobody's seen hair nor hide of her. Shit. My sense of impatience is deepening. My thoughts are just going in circles. If she just went out on an errand or decided to go out and have some fun on a whim, then there wouldn't be any problems. However, there's the possibility that this may be related to Otaha's murder. I must find Rin as soon as possible. There's nothing left here for me to search. I need to look somewhere else. I think it was Ueno Park next. Okay. Let's try there. I run down the footpaths in Ueno Park. They're completely devoid of any people. Well, I do remember Shugo mentioning he was being watched when he was over here, so maybe the person watching them abducted Rin right after she left, because he was watching them the whole time. He or she. I'm headed toward the place where Otaha's body was discovered. There's a good possibility that Rin came here once again to bring more flowers for Otaha. Damn. However, there's nobody to be found at the crime scene. I turn around and exit Ueno Park. I run through the streets just like I had earlier, but I don't gain any valuable information. I wonder if Rin didn't pass in front of the station. Yeah, the only other place we can go to is Oimachi. Oimachi. It's home to the slums, which are deeply involved in the series of murders taking place in Ueno. The first corpse was discovered here, and it's where the victims disappeared. However, the people of the city all seem vigilant. There's practically nobody out and about as evening is falling. Nuts. I'll hand over some money to informants I'm familiar with and move on to the next location. I think it was downtown. Is that the next... Yeah, it's the next place we're gonna go. First things first, I need to get a detailed rundown of what Rin was doing when she disappeared. The Omidaya is located along a busy thoroughfare. I pass under their entrance curtain and direct a question toward the clerk, who happens to be an acquaintance of mine. I'm not exactly sure where she was headed off to. All I did was hand the messenger's letter over to Rin-chan. And who exactly was the messenger? I didn't ask his name. It was a child wearing a weird raggedy old cloth-looking thing. Now that you mention it, it was someone I've never seen before. It wasn't some kid from your guys' place? A child wearing tattered clothing. To my knowledge, the Yukishiro has never employed a person like that. But hey, where else have we seen kids wearing weird clothing? What's going on here? I don't have time to waste standing around dwelling on this, though. I thank the clerk and exit the Omidaya. Next up is... Oimachi again? Yeah, that's right, because they do hang around Oimachi. I wonder if I've missed anything. I run everything through my head again and again while trying to suppress the fatigue that's making my body feel leaden. Perhaps Rin unknowingly held one of the leads to Ota's murder. Or is this just pure coincidence? No, I doubt it's coincidence. Hey! Someone suddenly grabs a hold of my shoulder. Ah, Toji, have you found anything? She frowns at me, her mask a face of displeasure. Calm down, Shugo. There's no way you'll find her just searching around randomly. To begin with, there's no way to find this prostitute if we don't even know why she disappeared in the first place. Calm down and think things through carefully. She's right. Toji's words may be blunt, but she's always right. I understand what she's trying to get at. But this time, I don't have time for that now. While I'm just dawdling around, the words die in my mouth. I'm unable to say the rest. Shugo, did something happen between you and this girl? Toji's eyes seem to see right through me. I avert my eyes in response. Anyhow, you help out too, Toji. I turn around and run off. Back to... Okay. I think we're going... Okay, we're going to Ueno Station again. Or... maybe not? Let's see, it said Ueno Station and then... Ueno Park. The gloomy overcast sky is starting to take on a tinge of purple. Looks like the sun will be setting soon. Rin still hasn't been found. Legs leaden from my futile search effort, I slowly circle the path surrounding the pond. How many times have I searched this park already? The anxiety rolling inside my brain has caused my memories of these last few hours to become a blur. Rin. I sigh and stop in my tracks. I let the winter breeze blow against me. The cold numbs my brain. My heart is crushed. I feel like giving up. I've tried my hardest to encourage myself to keep on running, but I'm at my wit's end. If I actually start to think rationally, my legs will lose the will to keep moving. I let out a scornful sigh. Maybe it's all the product of my imagination. Maybe I'll return to the Yukishiro and Rin will be there to greet me with a smile like she always does. Damn it. If only that were true. I should head back to the Yukishiro. I turn around slowly, my head hung low.
Yeah, Shugo.
Hey, Shugo. Not her. I wasn't looking for you, goddammit. I raise my head up to see the figure of a girl silhouetted in the twilight gloom. Why, you seem to be depressed about something. Perhaps you require my assistance. No, I require you to go the fuck away. Nana. Oh no, fuck off. Don't help me. Go back to being weird. Doing weird things like you usually do. Nana laughs merrily after seeing my dumbfounded expression. Well, I'm honored to see such a shocked expression from you. If this were a theatrical production, this would be the moment where the star enters, right? A famous scene replete with applause, perhaps. Damn it, Nana. Poor you, running around all this time looking for your friend the whore. Stellar work there. This seems to be a bit crude for a man like you, who prefers to use brain power. It's an exercise in futility. You know something? I ignore Nana's jest and angrily growl a question at her. Boy, oh boy, do I know something. Of course I do. I've told you a million times before, haven't I? Nana declares this with yet another merry laugh. There's nothing in this world I do not know. My head's swimming. Despite what may have happened to Rin, she still doesn't stop it with that goddamn attitude of hers. When are you just gonna say fuck it and just deck her in the face? If you know something, then tell me. I step up to Nana. But if you fuck around and don't give me a serious answer, you're going to pay. I lift her up by the collar of her uniform. The blood gradually drains from her face. Yes! Fuck her up. Punch her in the face. World star. Shugo, I can't breathe. I don't care. Hurry up and spit it out. The fatigue and irritation bottled up inside has caused me to snap. I start to tighten my grip around her slender throat. I have no time for childish games. I have to hurry. But... Nana laughs with a look of rapture, her tone almost musical. Man, this makes me so happy. I've yearned for this. It's been so long since you've played with me like this, Shugo. Man, somebody's a fucking masochist. I got it. Let's play detective. You used to do that with me, right, Shugo? She's got a dreamy look in her eyes. Huh? Damn it, I'm pissed off. What the hell is she talking about? I put more strength into the fingers I've wrapped around her neck. I'll give you some hints, but they're so trivial I'm not sure you could even call this a proper riddle. I wonder if you'll be satisfied, Shugo. Do you have the slightest idea how much of a hurry I'm in right now? Then go ahead and beat me up or torture me to get the information. Yeah, I think I'd enjoy playing with you if you did that, Shugo. What the fuck is wrong with this girl? My little sister's eyes light up with joy and anticipation. A chill runs through my body. She's serious. Nana actually wants me to do those things to her. Fine. I take my hands off Nana. Hurry up and start this detective game of yours. I've no choice but to play along with her until the bitter end. Ugh. Just calm down and listen. Nana prefaces her little game with those words. Now, for our first question, the bizarre serial murders occurring in Ueno right now are motivated by... Come on, it's the work of some sicko. He just feels pleasure from cutting women up. Annoyed, I cut off Nana's sentence midway. Shugo, I was in the middle of speaking. You're going to get penalized if you don't listen to my questions all the way through. People say that the killer is being driven by repressed desires that have suddenly been blown out of control. Now, which of the following three choices is the real reason? So what is she, the Riddler now? The real reason? How can you even say something like that? No point in asking me that. I know it because I know it. No need to worry about the truth of the matter. It's a logical hypothesis that's been tested through experimentation. I've gone through all the proper protocols. Must I repeat myself? I know anything and everything. My monstrous little sister's lips twist themselves into a crude smile. Go on. That's the only reply I can give. Which of the following three choices is the real reason? Choice number 1. Starvation as a result of poverty. This seems like a rather weak reason to be the cause of these murders. Why, you ask? Well, that's because the killer didn't touch the parts of the body that would seem tasty to the untrained eye. The thigh and the breastmeat. Their targets encompassed only the uterus and organs it was connected to. Oh, you removed the uterus here too? What the fuck is with this? Like, let's remove the uteruses of women. Perhaps it would make things clearer to call their desires sexual in nature. Anyway, that brings us to the second choice, religious fervor. This could be a remarkably perceptive take on the situation. Perhaps the large amount of indiscriminate murders is some sort of test in God's name. And choice the third, for attention. I don't know about this one. They're getting more bold, but the first victim was weighed down and thrown into the river. They clearly intended to conceal the corpse. The last murder was an exception, though. The last murder, that's the one that resulted in Otaha's bizarre-looking corpse. I wonder if I gave you too many hints. Anyway, Shugo, what's your answer? I think she made it pretty clear that it's going to be the second one, but... let's see. Yep, it is the second one. Congratulations, Shugo. You chose correctly. It looks like you were actually listening to me. I mean, it makes sense that it's the second option considering all the religious and cult stuff we've been seeing around. In this case, religious fervor was the correct choice. It's pretty common for people to get these divine revelations. Divine revelations? Are there actually people in Japan who believe in that sort of strange rubbish? You don't look very satisfied, but I think you'll get it eventually. Yeah. No, you're not. With no further ado, on to question 2. The category is corpse transportation method. Even if the corpses were chopped up, there's no way they could have just walked around carrying parts in bags. No, this required a suitable amount of planning. It would also be important to have a method of transporting the victims they abducted in town to their lair, and one that seemed inconspicuous. First choice, a refrigerated vehicle. It's one of those cars butcher shops like to use, where the rear cargo portion is sealed off. This seems like a plausible answer. However, the police had the same thought, and they've been searching for those sorts of vehicles ever since the murders started. Needless to say, they still haven't found anything. I wonder what that means. Onwards and upwards. Choice number 2, a cart. A hand-pulled cart, like the ones tramps used in Ueno to cart around all their worldly possessions. This would be excellent for concealing the bodies, but they're not very sturdy and the stench would be noticeable. If they were stopped for inspection, they would have been arrested immediately. Our third choice is a horse-drawn carriage. This one seems somewhat unlikely. In this day and age, there aren't many people who use horse-drawn carriages. You'd have to begin by obtaining one. But if you could manage that, a horse-drawn carriage would be suitable for multiple conditions, including mobility and concealment. Well, Shugo? Okay, I already know this. It's the horse-drawn carriage. Brilliant! I expected no less from my brother. And I think because of the little like commentary she gives on each choice, it really makes the answer pretty obvious. I mean, because okay, so the police already know about the refrigerated trucks. They've already been checking that. And they also know, and there's also the hand-pulled cart, which would seem to be pretty impractical, like if you're trying to transport a corpse. Horse-drawn carriage seems to be the obvious choice, or the obvious answer. The correct answer is a horse-drawn carriage. Fortunately, or perhaps unfortunately, our killer is a person who has free access to one of them. A horse-drawn carriage. Now, where have you seen that before? A single image just surfaces inside my brain. Didn't I just see a place where horse-drawn carriages were used on a daily basis? And standing next to it was a member of the clergy. The sky above the building was covered in a murder of crows. The light bulb finally turned on, perhaps. Looks like you're finally getting back in stride, Shugo. Well then, we've arrived at the final question. Nana, enough with this game. All the puzzle pieces are gradually coming together. A person who experienced a divine revelation from God and who used a horse-drawn carriage in their crimes. Above all else, Nana was easily able to point out the culprit when the police couldn't even pin one down. There can only be one conclusion. Come on, Shugo, don't say something like that. There's only one more question left. I know that. Your question is, Nana's presented to me 2 puzzle pieces to the murderers. The murderer's internal motivation and how they got around. There's one more puzzle piece left, and it's something Nana herself is deeply involved with. It's regarding where they were dismembered and the method used to dismember them. And I think it's probably where they were dismembered. And according to the guide, that is the correct answer. Where they were dismembered, right? You've hit the jackpot, Shugo. In our cramped metropolis of Tokyo, there is only a limited amount of buildings that fulfill all the conditions required for carrying out those atrocious acts. Nana, that's enough. I've had it up to here with your lecturing. I cut her off midway with a firm interjection. That place is Keio Academy, correct? Having the final piece to the puzzle in hand makes things easy to understand. Keio Academy's carriage was used to bring her back to campus after she had stayed overnight in Ueno. Nana had realized the truth the moment she got in. She realized that it had been used for something other than transporting students to and from the academy. My thoughts about this case aren't entirely based on inference, you know. I knew about the existence of the carriage. I realized there was a faint smell of blood lingering inside. Thinking backward from those points, it's actually kind of pitiful. That's what Nana concluded. However, there's still something missing. She hasn't told me the most important thing of all yet. Spit it out. Where on campus is it? And is Reen actually there? I lift Nana up by her collar again. Okay. Just let the crows be your guide. Your answer lies in the place they lead you to. Nana's answer is yet another ridiculous riddle. This detective game is over. Oh, there are crows everywhere now. I suppose so. It was ever so much fun, Shugo. Oh, right. You scored quite excellently, Shugo. I must present you with a gift. She pulls out a rusted key from her uniform pocket and presses it into my hand. What's this? Nana does not reply, but instead stares at me with those bottomless eyes of hers. She then whispers to me, Shugo, come back alive. I value your life above everyone else's. Her tone is almost loving. I shove Nana away from me and run off toward Keio Academy. Ah, fuck. Well, it's time, motherfucker. The city settled into the twilight gloom. The icy wind blows through the trees and causes their leaves to rustle above my head. The apprehension practically burns a hole in my chest as I stand in front of Keio Academy's gates, scanning for a way to get inside. Maybe there's a back door. The strict all-girls academy prohibits entry to outsiders. In addition, since it's sunset, the main gate has been firmly barred, blocking me from entering. My only basis for finding the school suspicious comes from what Nana told me. I can't just forcibly break my way in. Of course, neither can I ask the police for assistance. Ah, the struggles of being a private detective, or private investigator. After rounding a few bends, I'm suddenly stopped by a towering brick wall, and in it is an entrance for the janitorial staff. Excellent. Excellent! I practically leap at the door and investigate it carefully. Just as I thought, the wooden door is stoutly constructed, but there's only a simple lock on there. Please, please, I hope nobody comes walking by. I bend a thick wire into a hook and stick it into the keyhole. I learned how to lockpick from Skyrim. It looks like the skill I learned from Toji for fun actually has some uses. I concentrate all my nerves onto the minute sensations transmitted through the wire to my fingertips. In my impatience, I slip up several times. I'm nearly suffocating and sweat's pouring down my forehead. Despite that, I'm completely immersed in my task. This should click. I feel the distinct sensation of the metal fixtures shifting through my fingers. The moment I realize the sensation, I push open the door. The wooden door swings inward smoothly, and right at that instant... Shugo-san! What the fuck are you doing here? I whirl around to find Kazuna standing before me. I wonder how much he's been running around in order to find me here. Kazuna is out of breath and panting heavily. What are you doing here? She glances at the open service entrance in front of me and speaks murmurs. Is Rin-san inside there? All the blood's drained from her face, but her expression is dead serious. She's remarkably perceptive when I don't want her to be. Frankly, I'd rather not have to deal with her right now. Leaf, this has nothing to do with you.
Wait, no, I can't allow you to go alone, Shugo-san. I'm going too.
I ignore Kazuna and start to enter the campus.
Please wait.
Her slender hand latches onto my sleeve. Get away from me! The wet plop of mud flying about. Kazuna looks up at me, dumbfounded. You'll just get in my way if you do as you please. Just behave yourself and go back to the Yukishiro. You shouldn't be here.
But...
You'll just get in my way if you tag along. Do you want to put me and Randy in harm's way just for a cheap thrill? Leaf, the mere sight of you annoys me. Jesus fuck. Man, Kazuna's eyes are brimming with tears.
I never...
However, she's unable to continue. Kazuna slowly rises to her feet and leaves. Gotta be a total dick to her, don't you? This is for the best. If Nana was telling the truth, then what awaits me is death. I can't involve a good-natured girl like Kazuna in this. Well then. I enter Keio Academy through the service entrance. Using Nana's words as my guide, I search the overcast night sky. Man, this is starting to turn into fucking Bloodborne. We're gonna find Vicar Amelia inside the church. I spy a black lump that blends into the darkness. It's an old brick building standing quietly in a corner of the wide campus. The chapel? On top of the roof is a flock of crows resting silently and staring down at me. I don't think I'm gonna like what we're gonna find in here. This is not a house of God anymore. Taking care to muffle the sound of my steps, I enter the chapel. To my disappointment, the door isn't even locked. I don't sense anyone inside. Taking cautious step by cautious step, I slowly advance into the darkness. At a glance, nothing seems out of place inside here. A sour old building smell assaults my nostrils. The room is full of stagnant, dusty air. Am I getting closer, or am I completely in the wrong place? I'd really like some kind of confirmation at this point. Huh? Suddenly, I catch a whiff of something putrid. As I proceed further inward, the smell grows undeniably stronger. I spot a small iron door in front of me. Is there some kind of storage room behind it? But, this smell, it brings old memories flooding back. I remember smelling the sweet stench during my days spent on the battlefield, during countless crime scenes witnessed during my time as a police officer. The crows gathered at the top of this building are probably attracted to this smell. The moment I take a step toward the metal door, it slowly swings open. My heart skips a beat. I immediately search around for a hiding place and end up wedging myself between some pews. Hiding in the darkness, I struggle to conceal my breathing. This is a sneaking mission, Snake. Step, step, step. Oh, it's her. A figure carrying a lamp passes by me, mere paces in front of my eyes. It's the nun I met the morning of the murder, the person who had gone to the Ueno police station to pick up Nana. What the hell could she be doing in that dismal little room? Even though she's a teacher, most of the students should have already gone home. What's she doing on campus after hours? Don't tell me she's... Nana's words spring into my mind. In this case, religious fervor was the correct choice. It's pretty common for people to get these divine revelations. A member of the clergy, someone who received a revelation from God. A horrifying realization dawns on me. Was Nana actually right? The nun passes by me and exits the chapel, a serene smile playing about her lips all the while. The door then closes, and once again, I'm alone in the darkness. Alone in the dark. Extra alert, I proceed over to the small metal door the nun had come out of. It's an iron door covered in rust. I try pushing against it, but as I expected, it doesn't budge. The door's been securely locked. I rattle it with all the strength I can muster. No effect. Damn it. Did I come all this way just to get stopped by a door? Do I really have no choice but to give up? Even though Rin might be held captive behind this door. No, I can't do that. I can't give up. Not here. Not now. I pull out the wire from my pocket and attempt to pick the lock. I use what faint candlelight is available to investigate the keyhole. It's a rather complicated mechanism. This door is in an entirely different league from the service entrance I opened earlier. Will I actually be able to pick this lock with my clumsy skills? I have no choice but to try. That's when it hits me. I get down on my knees on the dusty floor, and as I'm about to pick the lock, I have a sudden revelation. The key that Nana handed to me. It might be a shot in the dark, but I'm convinced it's for this. I don't know how the hell he could forget about that key. The final piece of the puzzle. I insert the key into the lock and turn. Click. It spins smoothly and the door opens slowly. Ahead of me lies pitch darkness. A basement? In the darkness, I feel my way down the steeply sloping stairway. The air is saturated with the powerful smell of rot. It's a ghastly odor rising up from the wall of darkness ahead of me. My body begins to tremble. It feels like the stairwell goes on forever, like I'm just falling down into some bottomless abyss. As though ridiculing my sense of confusion, 10 steps later I hear a crunch and feel the sensation of sand beneath my feet. Looks like I've reached the end. I strain my eyes and see a rusted metal door directly in front of me. I don't hear any sounds from inside the room, even though I'm listening as carefully as I can. I gently place my hand on the door and... Yep, this is definitely the place. Ugh. The instant the door swings open, I'm assailed by the full force of the stench. It's beyond comparison to what I had smelled earlier. Gagging severely, I pinch my nose shut and enter the basement. So this smell really is... There's no doubt about it. It's blood and internal organs. The bed next to the wall is virtually dripping with blood, and on top of it are a bunch of different weapons. There's a rusted saw, a surgeon's scalpel missing its tip, a heavy butcher's cleaver. It's quite clear what went on in this place. And if that's the case, no. A feeling of utmost despair ravages my brain, and I spin my head around in panic. No, nothing's set in stone. Not yet. I'll definitely make it in time to save her. I'll find her, right this moment. Reed. I suddenly raise my head. What's that? I notice yet another door behind the bed. It's quite sturdy. There's probably a storeroom of some sort behind there. I slowly advance forward through the stench so powerful I feel like I'm going to pass out. My pulse is racing. The feelings of foreboding are almost too much for me to bear. And after opening the door, I see something faintly illuminated by the glow of a lamp.
Oh, well, I think we might be a little bit too late.
Reed? I can't stop myself from trembling. My brain ceases to function coherently. Is that Reen's dead body? No, I can't believe this. Why is she in that... Reen's suspended from the ceiling. Her eyes are closed. Her body's been cut open. Her legs have been cut off. And a pool of blood is still spreading underneath her body. Ugh. Oh, fuck. Not like this. My brain conjures up an image of Reen with a smile on her face, back from when we said goodbye. Ugh. The words won't even come out. I crawl forward slowly, extending a hand. I reach out and touch her body. Warm. She's still warm. My fingertips are stained red. My mind shatters. Fury, nausea, regret, shame, confusion. I'm suddenly overwhelmed by some inexplicable urge to give Reen a hug. But as I approach her... Oof, there's an explosion of pain in the back of my head. Ugh! I'm seeing stars. I fall over on the floor, face down in the puddle of Reen's blood. Dead end? Was I just attacked? I feel something sticky on my cheek and an abominable stench fills my nostrils. Before I can push myself upright, the second blow comes. A wave of intense pain hits me once more. I curl up into the fetal position and protect my head, but something warm drips down into my face from my forehead. The world's tinged red, and I can see someone's silhouette. Vacant, lifeless eyes, and lips curled up into a smile. In her right hand is a crowbar stained with my blood. On the table next to her are various bladed weapons and torture implements haphazardly strewn about. So it was you all along. The nun looks down at me and giggles. Oh me, oh my dear esteemed guest, I can't have you just coming down here. She drives her shoe into my gut. Ugh! I retch out my gastric juices. There's a painful fireworks display going on when I open my eyes. I'm unable to breathe from the vomit clogging my throat. I would have invited you down here if you just asked nicely. What a troublesome little visitor you are, She then picks up the hatchet set down beside her, lifts it up effortlessly, and swings it down onto my left shoulder. Yeah! There's an intense splitting pain inside my brain. A large volume of blood spurts out. The hatchet only stops when it finally sinks into the brick floor. My, such a lively visitor we have here. I'm ever so happy. I've had many guests today. She looks over at Reen and laughs. Pain, desperation. These two feelings take a back seat to the seething rage that fills my mind. I ignore my throbbing shoulder and push myself up. You bitch, why did you kill Reen? I'm promptly kicked in the face. There's a thwack of something being crushed, and something hot starts flowing out of my nose. Once again, I'm down on my hands and knees on the floor. Oh, please, don't give me that angry look. You surprised me. But there's no need to worry. I'm not going to kill you, you know. I have no need for male bodies. I'm fading in and out of consciousness, but the jolt of pain running through my left shoulder serves to bring me back into reality. Just the act of coping with the pain alone renders my body immobile. My best efforts at resistance manifest themselves in a glare. However, but your scary little face is actually kind of cute in a way. How charming. I've been wanting someone to spend my time with, she giggles. I get it now. This must be the will of our Lord. I will keep you in his name. You'll lead such a pleasant life. She then turns her eyes away from me and noisily rummages through the tools on top of the table. I haven't the slightest clue what's going on inside her head. However, now's my only chance to fight back. Every time I move, pain shoots through my body. I manage to endure it and use my right hand to grip the handle of the hatchet. Yeah! Gritting my teeth, I pull hard with my right hand. The blade is buried firmly in the brickwork, but it gradually works itself free. Thanks for waiting. I fling the hatchet at her face right after she turns around. Her reflexes are quicker than I expected. My attack is easily deflected. What? What the hell is she? And as though nothing has happened at all, she says to me, I'm going to have to remove one of your feet so you don't run away, okay? And her right hand gleams a new weapon, a heavy butcher's cleaver. This will hurt, but please bear with it. Suffering is required in order to know the Lord our God. Fuck you. She comes at me with a funny look in her eyes. Those are, without a doubt, the eyes of a religious madwoman. Even though I try to resist, my consciousness is already fading away. It's the result of severe blood loss coupled with the shock of Reen's death. Uh-oh. Reen. She had her organs pulled out while suspended from those chains. Once again, I was unable to protect something precious to me from some crazy act of madness. Will being tortured to death by this zealot be my means of atonement? Go ahead and scream. I don't care. After all, nobody will hear you. She effortlessly lifts up the cleaver. You bitch! Damn. Toji to the rescue. The nun's literally blown off her feet. It's you. And standing there is... Shugo, you look terrible. You're right about that. Look at this. My best outfit got ruined. I laugh in spite of the pain. Toji grimaces after looking me over. You'll have no sympathy from me. I told you not to rush in by yourself. Ouch, that's kind of cold coming from... I force myself to swallow whatever's rising inside my throat. The taste of blood fills my mouth. Damn, did that woman hit some organs? But how did you know I'd be here? Woman's intuition? Toji ignores my joke, an offended look on her face. It was Kazna. She told me where you were. Be grateful. The only reason you're alive is because of her. Kazna. I see. So she... I owe her big time. Enough. You just shut up and go to sleep. I'll take care of the rest. Toji turns to face the nun, who is leaning against the wall. I don't know what kind of shithole you crawled out of, but I can see you've been showing my friend here a good time. The nun is still hunched over. She hasn't budged since Toji kicked her. You certainly don't look very normal. In that case, I'm not going to hold back. I will destroy you. Toji fearlessly approaches her opponent. Oh. She chuckles softly. However, her tone gradually turns into a bizarre sort of chant. Do not fear. For now, the day when the weak shall perish is nigh. They shall become beasts with a hunger so insatiable that they will consume one another. A look of sheer madness overtakes her features as she's seized by some strange fervor. When the mask of a pure and innocent nun is stripped off, she's nothing but a monster with a head full of delusions. However, you shall not fear. Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to men on whom his favor rests. Holding a weapon while hunched over, she faces Toji and prepares for a fight. Interesting. You want to go? Toji pulls her own weapon, a steel tonfa, and stands at the ready. With only a few paces separating them, the two ladies stare each other down. The tension in the air is palpable. I've been given a great mission. You, messenger of Satan, who has come to prevent this new miracle from happening. By the will of our Lord, I shall cast you back down into the eternal fires of hell. Ridiculous. Bring it on. I'll make you a martyr for the cause. A split second later. Man, there needs to be a fighting game with fucking Toji. Holy shit. I don't think I need to voice that. The nun springs forward like a bullet while she's still hunched over. Her speed is inhuman. She screams, her muscles standing out like ropes. Die! 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 She does not flinch, intoxicated with pain. Her smile radiates lunacy as she rushes toward Toji with the knife held up at chest level. However, is that all you've got? Amateur. Toji wears a calm, scorn-filled grin on her face. Ooh! She parries the nun's thrust to her stomach with her tonfa, then uses it to strike at the unprotected side of the nun's face. Gah! Well, that was quick. It's all over in the blink of an eye. Shugo, should I finish her off? Toji points at the woman writhing at her feet. She's hideous. Her eyes are rolled back into her head and froth is spewing from her mouth. She is the woman who tortured and killed Rin. I'm blinded by feelings of anger and despair. Can I actually overlook the fact that she stole someone precious away from me? Can I really let her off the hook when things have ended up this way? Nah. Yeah, this is the same kind of fucking response that Reiji gave when he was about to had the chance to kill Rokushiki. In the end, I refuse her offer. We'll hand her over to the police. Our work here is finished. I grit my teeth and do my best to choke out the words. I see. You're going to burden yourself yet again, huh? Somehow, I get the feeling that you're a hopeless cause. Toji averts her eyes as she mutters that back to me. She stares up at the prostitute who'd been hung there to die. Rin. The expression on her face is, strangely enough, one of peace. Oh my god. How the fuck... I mean, come on, man. Kill this bitch. Why is she not dead? Bizarre serial killings in Ueno. Crisis solved? On the night of February 10th, an investigator from the Ueno police station acting on a tip discovered multiple dismembered corpses in the chapel attached to Keio Private Academy. A teacher at the academy, 27-year-old Fukamizu Kaoru, was arrested under the assumption of homicide and abandoning corpses. From the appearance of the corpses, there's a chance that the suspect may be involved in the bizarre serial murder case. The Ueno police are frantically trying to get to the bottom of the matter.